Yeah. And before we get into like the experiences of like full getting into more experiences with Beast Games, I'm actually really curious as well. So you're amongst other smart people, and in the terms of smart, like you guys know how human behavior, manipulation tactics, emotional behaviors, like all these different things. Was there ever a moment where things were happening within the show and you were picking up like, oh, okay, this person might be thinking about this thing, or I need to become more distant with this person. They're not too trustworthy, things like that. Like I don't want you to talk bad about your contestants, but like
Yeah,
were
of
there
course.
ever moments, of course, like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you can usually pick up, not always,
Yeah.
but on like body language or the way people are talking to you, where you realize like, oh, this person is with me, or oh, this person is not with
Yeah.
me. And again, those are within confines of the game. Like there are definitely people that said one thing to my face and then lied and did something else, but to
Yeah.
me, like that's part of the game. So that's all fair. But yeah, there are absolutely times when I could pick up like, nah, I don't think that person is with me anymore.
Yeah. What was when you were answering the show and you're competing for $5 million? I'm sure you probably thought about what you would do with the money. What were some things that you're okay sharing that you had hoped that to do with the money?
Yeah, I mean, the most fun thing that I would love to do with a lot of money is actually starting my own video game company that would focus on like stories of people that are usually underrepresented in video games. Like, there are a lot of amazing indie video games out there today, but a lot of the mainstream games are like a lot of, first-person shooters and things like that, which are awesome if that's what you're into. But I feel
Yeah.
like I don't see myself represented in a lot of games and a lot of other like underrepresented communities. So, I'd love to like hire developers that to tell different sort of stories because I do feel like a lot of change comes through art and entertainment. So I
Yeah.
think like that's like a really cool way to like enact change or at least show people different stories that they wouldn't be exposed to otherwise. And
Yeah.
then the not s- the less fun and exciting answer is, helping to pay off my parents' house and allowing them to retire with some amount of money, and then probably more boring things like investing some money so that I could retire earlier, and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah. That's really, really cool. Well, I mean, it's really cool too, because sometimes when people get into coming to financial wealth, their initial thought is spend, 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 right? Like you said, pay off your house or things like that. But you talked about investing into a company that holds the potential of a good ROI. You talked about investing long term for the future, so you would be financially set. When I'm actually really curious how you talked about the story of the game. Would you be able to touch on a little bit more about that, or you want to keep it closed off because it's still a vision of yours? Like,
Yeah, no, I don't have like a particular story, like an
yeah,
exact video game that I have in mind, but like I just have grown up playing a lot of games, and I have like also a lot of friends who like work in that industry and have a lot of creative ideas that aren't as like mainstream.
okay, I like that. That's really, really cool. And so now I want to touch back um on Mr. Beast games. I want to get back into that. What was your favorite experience or your favorite game?
Ooh, that is hard because there are a few that I really loved. I would say I loved the challenge where we had to like build the giant tower as a big team.
Yeah,
Um, because at the end of the day, I am like a team player. I love being on a team. I love co-op games. I want to win together.
yeah,
I'd rather probably lose as a team than win by myself. So I love that being able to work together. And then I'm just a huge, huge, huge Survivor fan. So being able to go to the island and play in that like Survivor relay race, that was amazing. And
yeah,
then just to add one more, the telephone game in episode 9, I felt like that really, my skills really came through with that because I feel like, again, as you said, like sensing who's with you, who's against you, I could sort of honestly tell on the phone who's actually going to vote for me, who's not. Let me count the numbers. Let me see who I need to bribe versus just talk to. So I felt like finally there's a game where I feel confident that I can
yeah.
actually win at, unlike a lot of the other games.